Good morning. I just have to show off my very beautiful third place trophy from the most recent St. Augustine Sailing Sisters race. It was a women's race and we took third place. And I know, why am I celebrating third place? I have to tell you that I'm celebrating this third place because really, to me, this is like a first place trophy. This was made by the very talented Kelly Douglas, who was also sailing that day on another vessel. I believe she was on Varia. We were sailing on Rendezvous with Destiny, a Jeanneau 349, and we had a crew of 4, myself, another crew member who handled the main, Debbie, a friend Elise, who took care of photography, and also Charlotte, the boat owner, and she helmed for us for this race. And the reason I am so pleased with our third place, look at that, is that gorgeous or what? Yeah, I know there's some plastic to it. I'm going to talk to Kelly and ask her if she can make trophies that have a little less plastic in them, but I love it anyway. So our St. Augustine Sailing Sisters race, I'm so pleased with the third place finish because to me it was like a first place finish. It was an interesting day because I knew that the boat owner's husband really wanted her to helm the vessel, and I really wanted to helm the vessel, of course. And I thought about it, and I thought about, why do I race? And I race to share the experience of sailing with other people, and I also race because I teach a lot of sailing school, and in teaching sailing school, a lot of times I wouldn't say putting up with bad sail trim, but I am not fussing a lot about sail trim or exact until everyone gets the feel for making the boat go. And once they get the feel for making the boat go, then I relax a little bit and we start talking about sail trim. But a lot of times in a class, I am willing to accept that they're learning the theory, and then we're going to really zone in on the actual sail trim. So in a race, I love racing because it's a chance for me to very purposely get that sail trim right, make the boat hum, make the boat do all of the things it's supposed to do. When you're cruising, you're just cruising, you're just enjoying and sailing for the fun of it. But sometimes it's fun to challenge yourself, to put yourself out there. It's scary because if you really try hard and you don't win, then you've got to answer to yourself, and you have to think through every little step. Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? So for me, racing is just an opportunity to share my passion for sailing with other people and to really try and perfect my craft. And the reason I'm so proud of this third place is because the 2 boats that beat us were running spinnakers, and there wasn't a spinnaker class. We weren't running a spinnaker. We beat all the other boats. So this really was like a first place to me because we came in first in our class of cruising class, really. So that's why. Another thing that was a real celebration for me on this race was I got to try out a new product from Stream to Sea, and it's their Eco Stick. And I know this is going to sound like a commercial, but when I'm racing, I don't have time to keep reapplying sunscreen because I am paying attention to the course, I'm paying attention to the wind, the tide, and especially the other vessels. Plus, there was a lot of traffic going through that day. So to have a sunscreen that I can apply and then just not worry about, it's not going to sweat off. If you've ever done a lot of sweating and you end up with sunscreen in your eyes, you're down for 45 seconds that you can't see. 45 seconds in a sailing race, that is enough time for someone to approach us and get a little bit too close. So absolutely thrilled with Stream to Sea's new Eco Stick. Another thing about this, the packaging is completely biodegradable, recyclable. So if this fell out of my pocket and into the water, I don't have to worry. Do you know that a single drop of toxic sunscreen in the equivalent of 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools can kill the fish and coral? That's really bad. And I don't want my sunscreen, I don't want things that are supposed to protect me to actually damage the environment. And amazingly enough, a lot of times people come on the boat and I always flip their sunscreen over and check on the back to see what ingredients are in it. If there's oxybenzone, octocrylon, basically anything I can't pronounce, and it's got a bunch of those prefixes and suffixes, it's probably not good for the ocean. So I'm so thankful to Stream to Sea that they do produce things that I can use, and this worked well, it fit in my pocket really, really well. So just wanted to give a shout out to Stream to Sea for their completely safe for the environment and the fish ingredients in their sunscreen. On the boat, it's really important because I touch the boat and then we wash the boat and everything that is on the boat ends up in the water. So thanks a lot. I was able to concentrate on this race. But seriously, if you're thinking about sailing and you're not sure about racing and you're thinking, why would I want to race? Sometimes it's just really fun to push yourself. And if you lose, did you really lose? You still came in ahead of all the people who didn't even enter. Plus, everything that you learn, every single day you learn something new on the water. You learn more. It might not be what you expected to learn, but you're going to learn something. And every day on the water is a good day. This race for me was especially important because the St. Augustine Sailing Sisters always is thinking ahead to including women in our racing. And all 5 vessels that day, all 5, were completely captained and crewed by women. Another thing is in the summer, later on in August, we'll have another race where we raise money for some of our favorite charities. In the past, we've raised money for Rethreaded, which is a group that helps empower women who were victims of sex trade trafficking and gets them back on their feet, gets them into jobs, teaches them a trade that they can use to work. We also raise money for Betty Griffin House, which is an advocate for women who are victims of domestic violence and holds their hand through every step of the way through court proceedings and whatnot, and shelters. So really near and dear to our heart are those two, and we'll be racing for them in August. So love to have you come race with us. So sometimes if there's something that you're really passionate about, like sailing, it's really fun to put yourself out there, expose yourself a little bit, and allow yourself to dream big and compete with some other people. I'm not big into competition, but when we are competing, all hands on deck, because we want to win the race. We've got race week coming up with the St. Augustine Yacht Club, and I'm going to be racing again on Rendezvous with Destiny. Yesterday I put myself out of my comfort zone, and I almost self-taught myself. I watched a YouTube video with a really wonderful woman named Pip. Watched a YouTube video on what to do with a spinnaker. Because I'm teaching beginning sailing so much, I don't end up using spinnakers very often at all. So I did kind of like a little refresher, and then I headed over to the boat, hoisted the spinnaker, opened it up, made sure I knew exactly where were going to be the pitfalls, where were the lines going to run, how are we going to make sure that we can open up the jib, then open up the spinnaker, close the jib, how are we going to make sure all that works. I'll tell you what, prior planning prevents piss poor performance positively, Popeye, right? So we went ahead and looked at the whole setup, got that ready, got it figured out how we're going to rig that sail for upcoming race week. That's coming up in April, and we're going to be racing for 3 days on Rendezvous with Destiny at Juneau 349, and I'm really excited to see how she performs under those conditions. Then hopefully I'll have the same boat for the August St. Augustine Sailing Sisters race, so that I am on a boat that I'm really comfortable with. This third place was so important to me because the owner of the boat, Charlotte, was on board, and at the last minute, I think she thought I was going to have the helm for the whole race, and at the last minute I said, oh, there's the photographers, quick, grab the wheel so that they get some pictures of you at the helm. And then I just never let it go. So she raced the entire race, nerves of steel. She kept her cool. She looked so comfortable in the cockpit. All these photos that I'm showing you are from Tim Furman, another St. Augustine Yacht Club member, who graciously donates his expertise and his talent and his creativity to taking pictures of the races for us, so that you can see how wonderful Charlotte did in the race. This is a big shout out to Charlotte. You go, girl. You really helmed that boat all the way through, every single tack, every single jibe, every single time we rounded the mark, with some really low wind, some really high wind, and some really high current and a lot of traffic, and you kept her cool through the whole thing. Right-of-ways, all of that, no big deal for you. So you're a natural born sailor. That's my favorite thing about the sailing, is introducing other people to sailing and letting them stretch their wings or their sails and accomplish something. So thanks for watching. I hope this encourages you to use sunscreen that is safe for our fish in our waterways, and kind of put yourself out there, learn something new, push yourself in a new direction, and enjoy the great outdoors. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.